Hi friends, week 49. This is Lisa here, and for those of you who are new to my channel, what I do is each week I follow Bashar's formula and his teachings, and I talk about my week and the wins that I had and the challenges that I had and the teachings that I applied. So I'm all about embodying the formula and trying to keep it foremost in my mind as I am going about my day-to-day life. I am just a normal average person. I'm a grandmother. I have a teenager at home still. I'm a teacher. I work full-time. So I think I can hopefully relate to a lot of you out there who are maybe wondering how I can apply this formula to my life while I'm still in situations that maybe not sometimes are not my highest excitement, but I've made commitments already that I have to honor. And yeah, just going through your daily life and applying the formula as much as possible and learning from it and discussing your experiences. So that is what I've been doing. And this, like I said, is week 49. I've been doing this for 49 weeks. And this was a great week in a lot of ways. I'm just looking down at my notes as I'm talking to you. My son, I'm sorry, my grandson, not my son. My grandson had a birthday this week, and he had a big party, and that was really sweet. I'm so thankful to be living near him, just a couple doors down, and being a major part of his life, and my granddaughter, and then my children. All my children are in the same area right now, which is amazing because it hasn't always been like that. My oldest daughter and I lived in different countries for a long time, so this is really special to be so close to her and be so much of a part of her life. So yeah, my grandson turned 2, so that was super exciting. Something really strange happened. A lady that lives next door, well, across the road from me. I didn't know her that well. I've just seen her working in her yard and talked to her different times. And apparently she was found dead in her house, and it was discovered later on that she had committed suicide, which was shocking to me to hear about that. So that really got me thinking about Bashar and what he says about transitioning to non-physical. And he says that no one leaves before their time. So we decide from a non-physical level when our time on earth is up. And when it's our time to go, it's our time to go. So we decide that, and that makes me feel a little bit better about that, just knowing that from a spirit level, people choose whenever it's their time to go. And I think it makes me feel less sad about that, and just knowing that we will always exist in some form. So there's not really a death. This physical body is gone, but we will still always exist. And so yeah, that makes me feel a lot better, and come to take her passing maybe a lot better than I would have done in the past. Looking back at my notes, this week I had a busy week at work, and we tie-dyed work. We're doing something called the Social Studies Olympics. So my class is competing against the other social studies classes, and so we're doing fun things like having the students tie-dye shirts for their team, and then we're going to do opening ceremonies similar to the Olympics, and then we're going to compete in games. So lots of fun stuff happening. At work, I helped about 70 students tie-dye, get their shirts prepped to tie-dye, and then go through the tie-dye process. But it was kind of a fail because they washed their shirts and pretty much all of the color came out. So I'm not exactly sure what was going on with that. Maybe we got a bad batch of color, or maybe my co-worker was the one that was mixing it up, and maybe he didn't follow all the instructions. I don't know, but I have to re-dye those, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Being sarcastic about that. So just this week, I think the biggest challenge was feeling very not really very excited about my life. And I really hate that because I feel like I should be excited. Like I said, my grandson turned 2. I have all of this family time, and things are going well at work. I should really be excited about my life. So that got me thinking about Bashar and his teachings that I could apply to help me with this feeling of not being in my excitement. And what he says is that physical reality is not real. It is a projection of our consciousness, and it seems very real and very physical. And the experience that we are having is the real thing. So that the way that helps me is that I am the one deciding the meaning that I want to give to the circumstances of my life, because the circumstances are really neutral. Nothing in life has built-in meaning. We are the ones that give it the meaning. So what kind of meaning am I giving to things that are happening in my life to just feel not, not bad about it, but just kind of like, not really very exciting. So I thought about that and decided that I prefer to be excited about my life. And I want to create a vision for each part of my life, and I want to focus on it and take aligned action towards it, and understand and realize and acknowledge that I am the creator of what is happening in my reality. And if I don't like the results that I'm getting, I have all the power to change my thoughts about that situation. So either change the situation or change my thoughts about the situation. And then just thinking more thoughts related to the vision that I want to create instead, and monitoring my thoughts a little bit closer, because in order to feel a certain way, you have thoughts about certain things that give you the feelings that you have. So what kind of thoughts am I thinking on a daily basis that make me not very excited about my life? And I think part of the way that I was feeling this week had to do with me doing so many things for other people. And I love that I can help out with my grandchildren, but this week, on Saturday, I was really into lesson planning, as I learned this week about the boogosphere that was discovered in Colombia, and I heard a statement that Bashar made about it, saying that it was real, and I had to look it up. Like, what is this? I hadn't heard about it, and it was discovered in 2025, and the scientists are just baffled by all of the different properties that this little sphere is demonstrating. And it was fascinating to me, and part of my excitement is to learn about things that are not being, I think, communicated, like your hidden history and things that the public is not really aware of, and that media is kind of downplaying that this is actually a UFO. And it did come from another civilization, of extraterrestrial civilization, but we're not aware of that, like as in the general public. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. I feel like I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But anyway, I was so excited about researching that and doing a lesson on that, and I was really into it. And then my daughter called me and wanted me to come over to babysit, even though I was going over that night to babysit like pretty much the whole night while they went to a concert. And I had babysat the previous night too. And I was like, is this an emergency? And she's like, yeah, actually it is an emergency. Presley, my granddaughter, has fever, and I need you to come over. She won't stop crying. So I went over, and sure enough, she had a fever, and my daughter decided to take her to the urgent care center, which I know that was the right thing to do. To make a long story short, the whole day I ended up with watching my grandson so she could take my granddaughter to the emergency room, and I didn't get to do the lesson that I wanted. And then that night I was babysitting again. Just the whole weekend was taken up with doing things for other people, and I think that the way that I was thinking about it in hindsight was not really very helpful. So I have to remember, like, spending time with my grandkids and being here to help my daughter. Like, all of that is part of my excitement. It's not separate than my excitement. And I need to remind myself of that, and to reframe some of the things that happen in my life, and give them a different meaning than what I was giving them. So yeah, that's my big takeaway for the week. And the wins for this week, like I said, spending lots of family time with my grandchildren and then also my children. And then the big takeaway is that circumstances don't create my reality, that I decide what meaning I'm going to give to my reality. So that was my week, and I hope that if you haven't already, if you resonated with this video, I hope that you will like it, and then think about subscribing to my channel, share your experiences that you're having with Bashar, and maybe we can learn and grow together. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close, and I hope that you have a fantastic week. See you next time.